It's March 23rd, 2018, and you're listening to Unchained SCV.
I'm Nic Addante.
And I'm Mauricio La Plante.
Yo. And we're your hosts for this show.
Or just a couple of posers behind some mics, depending on how well you get to know us. All right, for our first topic today, the City of Santa Clarita has proposed an ordinance that would ban the commercial land use of recreational marijuana within city limits. This means that the city will prohibit commercial farming, delivery, and retail.
That means no smoking dope in Santa Clarita.
Well, it doesn't mean no smoking dope. It means
you can't buy it here, right?
Yeah, it means that prohibited. It is prohibited to sell it with a license.
Okay, so they're kind of just like going against the state, right? Or is it county? Fighting the state law?
Yeah, it's fighting the state law. Fighting this because it's legal now to sell marijuana and buy it with if you're over 21.
Yeah.
And it's legal to sell it with a license.
How'd they come up with this law?
Well, back in 2016, they had Prop 64, which they passed. But immediately after that, the City of Santa Clarita issued a moratorium to not allow any commercial land use or selling of recreational marijuana within city limits.
Figures.
Whoa. Anyways, but now they're officially making it a thing because they issued the moratorium to study it. Like, they had staff members go out to Colorado, to cities like Aurora and Centennial, I believe, according to a Signal article from November.
They're just going to study how those cities dealt with it? Is that what they were doing?
Essentially, yeah.
Oh, man.
But there's different quotes here, but unfortunately, some of it isn't clear. Like, Santa Clarita staffers also met with the Denver County District Attorney's Office, says the Signal article, leading to their decision to advise against the shops. Pot programs have not increased revenue, the article continues, according to the report. In fact, the cost of administration and enforcement exceeds the amount of revenue that is generated. But they don't supply us with any numbers. So I'm just finding that a little suspicious. I just want to see numbers, that's all.
Yeah, I want to see some kind of proof or what their reasoning is behind this decision, because it seems like they just don't want to do it because it's kind of like a red area. I
don't know. I don't want to be immediate and associated with the image or the stigmatization. Maybe this could be right and they're just not giving out the numbers in the article here, because this isn't from the city, this is from the Signal newspaper.
Yeah.
So
I think we have some of what the city says.
Yeah, we
right?
also have the agenda printed out here.
Yeah, and they are going to be talking about this new upcoming ordinance on the second reading for, what is this? Cannabis-related commercial land use and home cultivation of cannabis. So are they trying to make sure people don't cultivate at home?
No, part of the ban is not to ban homegrown marijuana. They will be restricting it to up to 6 plants.
Okay.
But you're still allowed to smoke within city limits if you're over 21, if you're 21 and up, and you're allowed to grow up to 6 plants in your own home.
All right. And you can't smoke it publicly, of course.
Pretty sure. And then there's also the federal law that lists marijuana as a Schedule I drug, so you're not allowed to smoke it in any federal land or federal building. Not that it would prevent anyone from smoking it, but to the federal government, it is still a Schedule I substance.
Of course. So hopefully the city will give us some more information on this.
Yeah, we are just seeking more information right now. The city is holding a meeting on Tuesday. It's part of their city council, and it's going to have the first reading of an ordinance prohibiting cannabis-related commercial land uses and restricting the home cultivation of cannabis in a manner consistent with Proposition 64. And that will be on March 27th, next Tuesday.
Yeah. City Council.
All right, so what else is going on in Santa Clarita that's kind of a bit odd or wild?
I saw that the Canyon, the new music venue opened up at the mall, they're going to be hosting Ted Nugent later in the year.
Ted Nugent. And just explain to me a little bit about Ted Nugent, Nick, for the uninformed who might not know a little bit about him.
I mean, I don't know what his music is like, but from what I hear on, news publications, he's kind of a crazy conservative dude. Not that that's bad, but like he does some outrageous things.
Can you give me an example or two?
Well, where is it? Do I have it in front of me? I don't, but he said some somewhat anti-Semitic things on Facebook about Dianne Feinstein and some other, political leaders, Democrats. His reasoning is
like
very strange.
Something like New York City Mayor Mikey Bloomberg.
Mikey Bloomberg. Yeah, he described Dianne Feinstein as the New York mayor.
Yeah, it's just so weird. But on the tweet he compares them to Nazis also, so it's just not clear where his stance is.
I'm wondering why Santa Clarita Canyon invited him out and what their ticket sales are going to be like, because
he certainly is a high-profile figure.
Entirely, and I do think he can probably draw a big crowd in this area. Who knows? What will this gig look like? The Canyon has already invited some other high-profile acts like Stone Temple Pilots, for example, and apparently Carrot Top.
Yeah, Carrot Top. And also at that concert, apparently Johnny Depp went up to sing with the Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, man. I wish I knew about that earlier. Johnny Depp's my favorite.
I like Johnny Depp as well. But it's just so weird. It seems like it's kind of this a very not restricted venue, but just a
kind of like a bubble. It's like another little bubble.
It's like an exclusive fine dining locale that also has old hardcore acts like the Stone Temple Pilots coming in, and now Ted Nugent in July.
Yeah, they have their fair share of big name bands, and then they also got some of those smaller mom and pop cover bands.
I haven't seen all their acts. I've just seen the high profile ones like Stone Temple Pilots, and coming in this July, Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent will be playing at the Canyon July 1st. And you can go to their website or Ted Nugent's website to see how to purchase some tickets if you're interested in that.
It's a very serious concert, so please have respect for the art.
We will see. We shall see how.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what else is going on music-wise out here?
Music-wise? Well, I know Hippified Records, the COC student record label, they're having another showcase in April, and it'll be pretty exciting. Like 5 bands, I think, are playing Vincenzo's Pizza.
Okay, and they're releasing their new album, correct?
Yeah, that's coming in April, so that'll be pretty exciting.
Okay, awesome. And how did you know a little bit more about Hippified Records than I do, Nick? How did it all get started, or just like what's the idea behind it?
Hippified Records is trying to create a music scene here in Santa Clarita. We have one already, but it's very small. Most of taking place at Vincenzo's Pizza. Shout out Vincenzo's.
All right.
And so they're getting COC students to record an album and distribute it throughout the school. It'll be a lot of cool to see what comes from that in the future. Hopefully some awesome bands that go big.
Yeah, and speaking of music scenes, Santa Clarita, another scheduled item on the council agenda is to discuss a new family amphitheater in Newhall. I believe is this the same amphitheater they held a meeting on about a month ago, Nick?
At that meeting I went to that meeting and they would not tell us where the amphitheater would be, So I have a feeling it might be that one.
Okay.
So if it is, they were thinking it would be kind of big, like 6,000 seats, which in my opinion is way too big. But they also want to bring in big acts so they can make lots of money. I would like to see the city do something for local acts, something that the citizens that live here can use instead of just trying to bring in big bucks.
Yeah,
big names.
who at the meeting, who did they seem to be appealing to? Like, there's plenty of young acts, young artists here that create their own original music that I'm sure would like to use this amphitheater. But we also are having acts like Ted Nugent and the Stone Temple Pilots come at the Canyon, so it's not completely absurd to imagine that some big acts might come out here. But who did the city seem to be?
The city was kind of hoping for bigger acts, just big dollars, big names. But a lot of the people in the community were more for smaller venues, something that they could use, something that they can see local acts, something like, something that smaller bands could use.
Okay. And was there a presence of local artists there?
There was 2 bands that were there that are pretty dope. Good Whales was there advocating, and Plastic Otters. I talked to both of them, and they were both very passionate and outspoken about how they wanted a venue to perform at that could offer larger crowds, a bit louder music, something more fun for the teens in this town.
Awesome. And can you see, as you said, one concern for the city and even the artists themselves is the dollars that'll come in. Can you see teens out here paying?
Oh, entirely. I mean, it feels like the nightlife in this town is just asleep.
Mm-hmm.
After 8 o'clock, it's like knockout. But if there can be like a spot that everyone can go to, have some fun, listen to some music, meet new people, dance, that kind of stuff, it'll be great for the city.
All right.
What do you think about that? Would you go to something like that?
I certainly think that I've met a lot of bands out here in SCV, but each one seems to be appealed to its own clique. It just seems that I don't see the same people at each show I go to, but I do see the same people for certain bands. So it seems like, I don't know if the bands intentionally are doing this or not, but it just seems that there has been reaching out, but it hasn't become like a super strong web of musicians. There's webs here and there, but there's no web completely connecting all the musicians in Santa Clarita.
Yeah. There's not too much collaboration on creating events for music. And while there is some, not saying that there's none, but there definitely could be more cooperation and collaboration in between bands and setting up a bigger scene.
Yeah, and obviously I don't know how that would be possible, but all I'm saying is that from what I've seen is that there's different musical acts playing shows consistently out here, but there's also just different kind of audiences that go to certain shows as opposed to others.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we have a band coming in now, right?
Yeah, stay tuned for Fruit Stand, our 2-person band act from Saugus.
Shout out Saugus. Swaggus, yeah.
This is Unchained SCV. Stay tuned. Hello, and we are back. This is Unchained SCV. I'm Mauricio La Plante.
I'm Nic Addante.
And these are our guests, Fruit Stand, Tate Dickens, and Emma Thompson. How are you guys doing today?
Good. I'm good. Yeah.
It's now a sunny day after a couple rainy days.
It is.
Even though we needed that.
Yes, like sad spring day.
Yeah.
I think it's usually sad summer day, but we're just
I don't know.
we're just all sad, self-pitying college students.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around. I don't know.
I'll roll with it, man. If that's the setting, you know.
Well, for now, we just like to ask you a little bit about your guys' band and a little bit about music. You know, you guys are a two-man band, and you played some gigs. You played a festival, Full Safari, a DIY fest, I guess as they call it,
Yeah.
Full Safari Fest back in October now. October.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. How's it been performing just with two people on stage?
It's definitely a lot more different, but there's more control in your performance. You know, when you're up there with four dudes, you know, or you know, of course, three dudes and one nice lady.
I'm a dude.
You know, yeah, we're just a bunch of dudes walking around. I say
Just a bunch
dudes
of
because I
dudes.
got that Southern California slang, you know. But no, there's more creative control. Like we played the show. I always get the place wrong. Where did we play it again?
Oh my god, I can't.
Where is it? Is
I
it
don't remember the name of it.
somewhere? I always say somewhere down in Hollywood, but it's not
Oh,
there.
that
you know?
place. The
Yeah.
Guitar Merchant in.
Yeah, we played
Canoga
guitar
Park.
in Canoga Park, right?
Okay.
Which is really different from where Hollywood is, but I don't know. That's what I just tell people. We played a show down there, and we you know, we're playing with a bunch of other bands we don't know. And we go up there, and it's kind of like the first time that at least this band, Fruit Stand, had the chance to perform on a stage. And when we started playing, it just felt like something else, you know, because we played with the band Submediocre before with our two other friends, Jared Kruzberger and Evan Emery.
Mm-hmm.
But this was something different from that, because instead of like four friends hanging out, I definitely felt a step closer to who I am as a performer, you know, because it's easier to be on stage with, you know, a bunch of other people than it is to more be singled out, you know. So the eyes are either on me or on her.
It's definitely more attention is put on you when it's less people. But like you said about the I don't know, just more control. There's a lot less things that could go wrong between two people. But also if something does go wrong, it's a lot more noticeable because, you know, there's only two instruments. So
It stands out. You're only listening to the drums or you know, the guitar or the bass or the guitar, you know. However we have the setup going for that special day.
I want to ask you guys about that. Is it tough to decide what instrument you guys want to use? Because there's only two of you, so you can only.
We always try to figure out what will produce the largest sound, because we're still, you know, we've been used to a quartet, you know, and now we're getting used to a duo. What kind of sound do we need to fill? What are those empty pockets, you know? We're learning that as you know, just a couple musicians.
Yeah, and you were describing how you separated as Submediocre. Jared and Evan went off to college at first, and what was that gap like, performing and just producing music in general? That separation.
The whole vibe changed, you know, and there's a part of us that left, but also a part of us that came too.
yeah, and I
Does that
think
make
we
sense?
always, both of us were always really quick to be like, oh, do you still want to make music after Submediocre kind of like splits up? And we were both just like, of course. Like, I think I asked him and he asked me kind of at the same time, and we were both like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't we keep writing music together? Because we have been and we work well together, and it was just, we didn't even really have to think about it. It was kind of immediate, and we just knew that we'd figure out something. So there wasn't actually like a gap, I feel like, between Submediocre and Fruit Stand. It was like, kind of right as soon as Evan and Jared left, and it sounds awful, like as I'm putting it like
But
this.
it's the
But
progression.
yeah,
of,
it was just like we naturally kind of just flowed into doing this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, now they're gone, we can do our own thing. It was just like, oh yeah, we can make it
it
happen.
was the progression of our natural state of what direction we're going in our lives. You know.
Continue.
Because, you know, once you get a little taste of performing and that kind of stuff, you don't want to stop. You want to keep making art. You want to keep going, you know. And we felt that, and we wanted to continue down that journey, you know. Nothing's going to stop us. You're not going to put a cylinder block in the road, and we're not going to stop. We're going to run over it.
Cylinder block.
Yeah, I don't
mean
know.
cinder block?
Yeah, I meant a cinder block.
No,
I mean a cylinder block.
Masonry is not your
Masonry is not my forte.
Okay.
It is not. I'll say that.
How
I'll
long have
admit
you
that.
guys been a duo? Like, when did Fruit Stand start?
End of last summer.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just say that.
August, September, I think.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel like you progressed from then till
Oh yeah.
right about now?
I started playing more instruments. We started
Yeah.
playing the drums because we needed someone to play the drums. He's been doing more solo stuff, which is really. I think the difference between his guitar playing in So Mediocre and Fruit Stand is really progressed. I mean, obviously, you would talk about this better than I would,
Trying.
but
Yeah, no, I agree with Emma's, progression as well. We're like we're just two peoples of music, trying to figure out and learn along the way, and we're seeing each other from at least where we started. We've made a lot of progress as musicians, at least in my opinion, and self-expression. As a guitarist, as a singer, I've made my own progressions, my own strides, and right now I'm trying to do some more like metaphorical stuff with my lyrics and songwriting and that kind of jazz, and I can see Emma, playing with a bunch of different instruments, and with each instrument she picks up, she gets better and better and better.
thanks. Yeah.
Alrighty, nice. Describe to me not your first performance as Fruit Stand, but just we've talked about this before, but describe to me just your first like musical performance. That was the talent show, correct?
Oh yeah,
Is
the
that-
talent show way back then.
Is that like
What was that? Junior year of my high school?
I
something
don't
like
know,
that, a
but
career?
was that your first performance?
Yeah, that was
Like ever?
kind of. I did quite a bit of theater in high school.
Okay.
So I've kind of gotten comfortable with the stage, but this is the first time doing a different medium on the stage, if that makes sense, Instead of acting and knowing your lines, doing something new. I mean, that year I did a lot of different things new. I did improv for the first time. That was a lot of fun. There's something attractive about going into the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's something about that, and it makes you scared, but it makes you also excited, if that makes sense.
Can you go a little bit more in depth about the story of that night, or
The story of the night.
of that talent show?
So that talent show, we find out the week of the so let's say we find out Monday. Our lyrics are due Friday. And we're talking about it. We've been kind of jamming. We don't have a single song as Submediocre. And we're like, we don't even have a song, So we went into the band director at that time, and we said,
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson. Sorry. But so we went in, and I lied to him. I said, I totally forgot to print the lyrics at home. I'm so sorry. And he's like, you can get them back, get them to me Monday. So we decided to write an entire song starting Friday to that Monday that it was due, because he gave us that 2-day extension. So we wrote Getting Older by the Day. And that's just, a song that is both repetitive with lyrics, because, we didn't have a lot of time. And it's our first song, so, And it was pretty much Evan Emery, Jared Kreuzberger, and I that started the band, and that was us three performing. And Emma was in the audience that night.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never heard them play, but yeah, after hearing it, I was shocked. Like I kind of went to support them because they were all my friends, and I was like, oh, it'll be good. It'll be cool to see them play their song. And then I remember, and I was sitting next to a friend, and I think I just like looked over and I was like, oh my God, they're really good. I was shocked. I was like in awe. I was really surprised that they didn't win every award. They should have won first, second, and third place in the audience's choice.
The real question was Bob Gibson's shocked?
Well, actually, this is what he said about the performance. He said, "I like the drummer."
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "Whatever, man."
So does everybody else. Everybody else really
Yeah.
likes Jared.
Well, he's a really good musician. One of the best that I've ever come across. Who's around my age. That guy has a musical work ethic unlike anything I've ever seen.
Very talented.
That guy picks up a guitar in a month. He's playing. He's already emulating all his favorite artists. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's building his own guitar.
Wow. How cool.
He's a great guy.
Shout out to Jared Kreisberg.
Yeah. And then I want to go back to that night.
Yeah.
We perform. We're a little bit nervous, and pretty much we were like, we don't know what's gonna happen. We're just going up there to play a song because we needed to push ourselves to write music. That was kind of our process the entire time as a band, was that we set a date. We said, all right, we're going to fill X amount of time, and then we're just going to push out songs like a factory. We're going to keep doing the structure that we've learned, and we're just going to keep remaking it. Not recreating the whole song, but that process is what we use to fill in the blanks. It's like storytelling and the circle, from beginning to end, all that kind of stuff. You go from the known, something makes you uncomfortable, it's unknown, then blah, blah, blah. That's the whole structure, And we play, and then we're like, we don't know. And then this was very special to me. It was Mr. G who first announced us on stage, which was really nice. And then, I'll always remember that man, the substitute man.
Yeah. Mr. G was a sub for the Heart District who taught at many different schools. Beloved teacher, but sadly he passed away almost more than a year ago now.
Yeah,
right? Wow.
He's a wonderful man. Every time he walked in classroom, it just brought joy.
Yeah.
So it felt like an honor, having that guy come and announce our band's first time on stage. It was really special, and it really meant a lot to me. And then, to our surprise, we won People's Choice, which is where the audience gets a text, text this number and say who you won, and that's what we won. I think we won like a $50 Amazon gift card, something like that, and it was. What did we spend it on? I don't remember.
That sounds just like a very Saugus present. Here's a $50 Amazon gift card for your efforts, like something at the PTA or something. No, but I mean, People's Choice though.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That's kind of like.
That was a great thing. That kind of said, hey, keep doing what you're doing. That felt good, hearing that from the audience and hearing that from people,
Yeah. Amazon for the people.
Amazon.
And Amazon.
And Amazon was there, too. I hope you guys are sponsored by them right now.
Yeah, it's like People's Choice and Amazon.
Yeah, and Amazon.
Well, yeah, but how did that... I'm curious, how did that give you essentially confidence? Like what was your reaction afterwards? You were sort of saying like you felt this is like powerful with the music. What possibilities did that illuminate to you?
That made me think about myself and how I want to express myself, because I was always expressing myself through theater. I don't really have any other art form besides that at the time. Or I didn't have, sorry, past tense. That just opened up a whole new door for me to start exploring. I gotta write songs. I gotta be myself. I gotta put things in those songs that mean something to me that some people are like, what does that mean? I don't know either sometimes. But I don't know. Just it's like hitting a home run on your first time playing baseball. That's what it felt like. And I was like, maybe I should, play baseball, but not baseball music. I'm sorry.
I think it worked. That metaphor works.
Yeah, it felt good. It made me want to continue what I'm doing and push myself. I don't know.
Yeah. So when did Emma hop on board? Because you were just
I
saying
just
you
showed
were
up.
the.
I was like, I'm
I can remember this story.
I don't remember it that well.
We had like 2-3 songs by then, and we were just talking about having a show, which later became Jamapalooza. And I was like, we should really get a lead guitarist, because I'm playing rhythm guitar, Jared's playing drums, Evan's playing bass, and it's like, it would be awesome to have lead guitar. And we were kind of talking about it, but then sometimes it wouldn't come. And then Emma came over one day, and like, I think I forget if I asked you or I said, hey, could you play something?
No, you asked me if I was ever interested in singing on something, and I was like,
Oh yeah, I was also looking for a female
I don't really
vocalist.
sing, but I was like, sure. I mean, yeah. And I think I don't know. I think I just kept kind of jamming with you guys. And then I came over one night and you were like, I talked to the rest of the band. And,
You're in.
He was like, would you want to be in our band? And I was like, yeah. I mean, after seeing them at the talent show, I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was such an amazing like addition to Submediocre and what it was, and then later what it became,
Right.
and what it is. It was great having Emma.
Thanks.
Come on, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
It's been good.
I can dig it.
I can dig it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna be still doing Submediocre and Fruit Stand in the summers?
Kind of always. I feel
yeah.
like it'll be a thing.
Yeah, we always wanna have a little show when Jared's back in town, and whenever Evan and Jared are available, we'll always want to be like, hey, let's play, because it's a little bit now it's entering the era of nostalgia or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like brings back so many positive memories, and just I don't know. We came from nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, we probably won't write any more songs. I mean, as Submediocre, unless we do. But like you said, nostalgia is something about playing the old songs and remembering writing them and sitting in your garage for hours and hours and hours and just like jamming them to death and
Oh yeah,
just working on them so hard and remembering where they came from. I feel like that's something that you can never forget, especially when you go back and you play the songs at like a show later,
Yeah.
Do you guys have any upcoming gigs?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We were contacted about one.
Yeah, we're
a few days
contacted about
ago,
one next week, but we haven't heard stuff. That's kind of how it goes. You try and get gigs, you try to play, but we are playing at someone's party or something like that
Yeah.
with Full Safari and Good Whales.
Yes. I think that's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
2 weeks?
something like that.
We were also just contacted about this
just contacted.
opportunity, but we were like, I mean, why not?
Get them claws like.
Yeah.
Get 'em.
Try to, yeah.
All right. Well, it looks as if our time is just about up. We were just speaking to Submediocre, and you can follow them on Instagram, Facebook.
You guys got Twitter?
Yeah, we got some Twitters. We have Twitter. We have
Twitter. We have Instagram. On Twitter, we're I think Submediocre Band and also Fruit Stand Band, and then on Instagram we are Fruit Stand Band, and our Submediocre one is just at Submediocre.
Yes. And to pick up, I believe I said this is Submediocre. This is actually Fruit Stand. Don't believe a word I say.
They're one and
But
the same.
follow them on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we are Unchained SCV. I'm Mauricio La Plante.
I'm Nic Addante.
And you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter,
Same name, right?
and Facebook as Unchained SCV. And find this podcast on YouTube or SoundCloud if you weren't already listening to it on there.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.